New York Times article here, and this is amazing. Níger approves armed U.S. drone flights, expanding Pentagon's role in Africa. So Níger approved it. By the way, everybody says Níger. So I guess I'm saying that now. Níger. It feels so stupid to say it like that, though. Why can't I just say Níger? Anyway, okay, so they approved it. But what about Congress approving it? I don't... Like, we're so far down the path of permanent war and disrespect for the Constitution that I haven't even heard a peep from anybody in Congress going, whoa, hold on. You do know that in the United States, under our Constitution, Congress has to declare war, right? So I don't give a fuck that Niger's like, hey, bring in the armed drones and start attacking people. That's an act of war. You're doing war. And obviously, fucking obviously, under the authorization for use of military force all the way back in the early 2000s under Bush, that's got nothing to do with Níger. Nothing at all. But we just add it onto that. Don't think about it. Add it onto that. Add it onto... No matter how... They're at the point now where they would... If they started bombing in fucking Botswana or Kyrgyzstan, they would just be like, yeah, it's a 9/11 response. What? Because we don't care anymore about the Constitution. With the Patriot Act, that's all gone. All gone. Patriot Act took away your protection from unreasonable search and seizure. Like that. Took away due process, habeas corpus. So people are like, Constitution, Smonstitution, I don't care. I don't care that it says Congress has to declare war. We're just going to say, I don't know, this is part of another war or something. But it's a sovereign country with its own borders. I don't care if they say, yeah, we're allowing you to come in here. We didn't approve. The American people didn't approve it. That's the whole idea of Congress approving it, is that Congress is supposed to represent the American people. They rarely do. That's a given. But in theory, they're supposed to represent us. So they're declaring war. That's them declaring it on our behalf. The people didn't say, go ahead and go in Níger with our fucking money. Our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. We got bridges crumbling right in front of our eyes. Half the country makes $30,000 a year or less. And you guys are like, yeah, we don't just fucking go bomb in Níger. What? God damn it, man. It never ends. So now we're in 8 countries. There was the talking point for the longest time that I use all the time, because it's true. U.S. is involved in 7 different interventions right now. Now it's 8. Let's see if I could remember them all. That's how bad it is. I'm not sure I could even name them all every time I start naming them. Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya, Níger. There you go. There you go. It never ends. Blank check for endless war. By the way, we have 900 military bases around the world. We can't have free college. Slovenia has fucking free college. Slovenia, they can afford it. We can't afford it. But we can afford 900 military bases around the world that cost $100 billion a year to maintain. Did you know the increase in the Pentagon budget? So not just the Pentagon budget. The increase that we got from last year to this year is enough to fund all of Bernie Sanders' free college bill. Medicare for all. Medicare for all would save money. They say we don't have the money for it. It would save money. Right now, under our private system, that's effectively a form of private taxes. You're forced to get health insurance, so that's a private tax. Costs $49 trillion over the next 10 years for our healthcare system. Medicare for all will cost $32 trillion. That's a savings of $17 trillion. They go, we can't afford it. But we can afford 100% endless war. We can afford being in Níger, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. What was the number? 29,000 U.S. troops now in the Middle East alone? Way more, 242% higher than what they admitted to. They're just like, I don't care, just send them. I don't care, whatever it costs. I don't give a shit. It's almost like the military-industrial complex runs the government and they don't represent us. And then for those of you who don't know, I have to show you this article. We covered it a while ago, but it's really important and it's perfectly relevant to this new fact on Níger. The war you've never heard of. The U.S. is waging a massive shadow war in Africa. Exclusive documents reveal. So this is from Vice News. They figured this out. I don't know, this is maybe 6 months ago or something like that now. And I want to give you one quote from this because it just shows you how extreme our current situation is. You're about to hear something that's radical. This is extremist, what you're about to hear. Quote, according to U.S. military documents, special operators are carrying out nearly 100 missions at any given time in Africa alone. That's your tax money, that's my tax money going to that. That we don't even know who we're fucking killing. And then people wonder, hey, it's weird. Why is it that all these polls show that the overwhelming majority of people around the world say the U.S. is the biggest threat to world peace? Why? That's weird. Why? They're not saying North Korea. They're not saying Iran. They're not saying Russia. They're saying the U.S. is the biggest threat. Why? I don't know what's going on? Oh. At any given time, there's 100 missions going on in Africa alone. We're waging a shadow war over there. Where we're doing drone strikes in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia, and Libya. We're doing all-out ground invasion and ground war in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria. And it's okay, because terrorists. Oh, okay. So you start a war in 2001. It's motherfucking 2017. 2017. There's been a net increase in terrorists in existence in that time frame. You started in 01, it's 2017, there are more terrorists now. An objective failure. Not a question, not open for debate, failure. But it's okay, war on terror. War on terror. War on terror. War on terror. So there are more terrorists now, but we're fighting them even though we're creating more of them, but war on terror. War on terror. And don't look at the oil situation. Don't look at the mineral situation. Don't look at the opium situation. Don't look at the no-bid contracts that make a small number of people very, very rich, and then they lobby the government to continue to get those contracts. Don't look at the fucking tanks sitting in the Nevada desert that we're trying to sell to all these different brutal regimes around the world. Don't look at any of it. Don't look at any of it. We're the good guys by definition. Everybody else is the bad guys, and we're just law and order and peace and human rights, and that's what we're fighting for, which is why we back Saudi Arabia and why we back Israel and why we support literally 73% of the world's dictatorships as we comically argue we're in favor of democracy and freedom. Don't look at any of it. Don't look at any of it. Look away. We don't want to use that money for college and healthcare and a new deal and jobs. We don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. We want to keep spending it, blowing up people overseas while pretending like we're moral.